Zimbabwean elections might have long gone by now, but the ramifications and also the controversies surrounding those polls are still really just a big deal for the region. So that's why today you do have the SABC members in Pretoria demonstrating at the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. As you know, that SADC Observer Missions report was very clear in terms of a litany of irregularities that were associated with those polls. But joining us now is the organizer of this march, Mr. Trust. Thank you so much indeed, sir, for your time. Quite a very big day for your members. Tell us about the demands that you're raising before South Africa's diplomats today.
Oh, thank you, Khumalo. Thank you very much. Today we want to highlight very important things that regarding what happened in the elections of 23-24 August. You know very well that according to SADC report, those elections were declared sham. They were declared short of meeting the standards, and they were flawed. So if something is flawed, if the process was flawed, there is no legitimacy that can come out of it. No leadership which can come out of it can be legitimate. So in other words, the government that is there right now is illegitimate. It is a government that is not acceptable. It's not a government that represents the interests of the masses. And because of that, we are calling for the South African government to intervene in a proper manner, to say ZANU-PF no longer represent the majority. ZANU-PF no longer represent the goals of the liberation struggle. ZANU-PF is no longer the part of the people. Therefore, we are calling for majority rule. If we talk of majority rule, we talk of the party that was overwhelmingly voted, and we know SABC was overwhelmingly voted by the people. But there was voter suppression, there was voter manipulation, there was gerrymandering in many constituencies. The voters' roll itself had problems. It was only given in the last minute. It was not researchable.
What about those who are saying the horse has bolted? We've seen inauguration, we've seen a new cabinet. So are you still calling for the new elections?
We are indeed calling for a new elections under a new environment. Reforms has to be, the elections cannot take place under the current environment. You know, it has bolted, but it's unfortunate you cannot have a government which is illegitimate, a government that comes from a flawed process, a government that comes from irregularities which are glaringly, which the SADC report also confirmed. In other words, we are saying, can SADC act on its own report? That report was given by SADC, it was not given by SABC members. And we are saying, President Ramaphosa, can you at least accept and respect the SADC position, the SADC report, without, we can't be rigged by ZANU-PF, ZEC, and then...
And President Ramaphosa said, look, elections all over the world, there will be challenges. You're looking at the US, same issues could happen in Zimbabwe. Well, what do you make of his argument?
There's a big difference. There were elections rigging all over many times, and we tried to play along, to accept. But this time, you understand, international recognized institutions such as SADC, AU, the Qatar Foundation, and the European Union, and the others have come together and came with a similar report. This was a gigantic fraud. It has never happened in other democracies which you are referring to. It has never happened in South Africa that you find a report so damning like this one, which clearly says the elections were flawed, were not free and fair and credible.
Okay, before we let you go, Mr. Trust, what do you hope to get out of DIRCO today? Obviously, I mean, you won't be having an overnight victory, but what are your expectations?
We expect DIRCO to accept our demands and put them across to South African government represented by the President of the Republic of South Africa, so that they will also take that to AU, to SADC, to other international institutions, because the issue now is not about the people in Zim. The issue now is a regional issue. It's a regional problem. It's actually a South African domestic policy issue, because look at how many people are flocking to this country. You cannot have a problem of foreigners who comes in dozens and eat in the fiscus of South Africa and go in Zimbabwe and then justify what causes them to come to South Africa. It's a contradiction. It does not make sense. It has no logic. I'm actually calling for South Africa, ANC in particular, to review the liberation solidarity contract which they have, the liberation parties contract agreement which they signed to support each other. They can rather review it and look at the interests of the masses rather than at the interests of the few elite, the few who are now leading by the military deep state, and they cannot be told what to do.
All right. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Trust, for your time. Of course, he's with SADC, really just quite clear about his views in terms of what should be done and why they are here today outside the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News, Pretoria.